Hello, hello, hello. Make sure y'all can hear me. I know I'm early, but my hair just needed up tonight. And my hair tie just broke, so it's staying down. Wow, look at that. Look at my hair. Hey, Jen, how you doing? What is this string? Hey, Rebellious. Good. This string is, hang on a second. Hey, I love Durf. Good to see you guys. I know I'm a little bit early, but I am super tired tonight, so I decided to go a little bit early to live, and then Kate's gonna go live after that. So she's better at staying up than I am. How's everybody's Tuesday? I have a really insane story I'm gonna tell you. I'm just waiting for a couple of people to come in. I know, Rebellious, I'm so glad you're home. We have a buttload to talk about. I know, Paul, I'm really, really tired tonight, so I thought I'd go a little bit early and maybe get off a little bit early. Hey, Lori, and Kate wants to go live later, or I want her to go live too. So I thought like maybe she would go early or live. I don't know what I'm saying. I'm really tired. I got out of work later than I wanted to. And okay, Punkat, I don't even know what to say to you. Hey, cool gamer. Oh, Paul G, well, tell her I said hi. So listen, I researched how to do this. So this is what I'm going to do with the drawing, okay? So I'm making a video. This is what they said the best way to do it was. So I'm going to make a video tomorrow morning and then post it on my, just post it. I guess just post it. And then what will happen is like I'll make a deadline for it. So I'll say post the video in the morning and I'll say at 8 o'clock it's done, right? It's done. And so Punkat, you scare me on a daily basis. And then at 8 o'clock we'll say it's done. And then it'll take all the comments. So everybody that comments, it will take all the names, and then like live or whatever, it'll generate the name that wins the gift card that way. It said that was like the best way to do it on YouTube, and really the only good way to do it would be that way. So anybody that comments will get the chance to win it tomorrow. So make sure you comment on the video tomorrow. So I'm going to tell you guys a cool story before I get into this. Because we just need some positive news before we go through all this stuff. So when my daughter was little, up until about 11, she had a really serious disorder that she should still have, but she doesn't, where she didn't have like a working digestive system. So like the first 11 years of her life, no, less than that, probably 10 years of her life, she ate through a tube into her intestine and then had one in her stomach. So we had gone to specialists everywhere and stuff. And then the most bizarre thing is one day she just, thanks, Rebellious. Actually, it's just probably because I need to wash it. I didn't wash it today, but thank you. So anyways, like this all started, we noticed that she was really ill when she was about 2 months old and we couldn't keep anything down. So she ended up spending like, hey, Beatlemaniac, she ended up spending like 42 weeks out of like a year period in the hospital. And so I'm getting to a point of this story. So when you're in the hospital for that long, you start to make friends with, obviously the other families we would make friends with. Some stories were super horrific. So there was a kid, I'm not going to name his name, but there was a kid who had cancer, and he was 12, and he was supposed to he had like stage 4 lymphoma, and that had gone into his bone marrow and also developed into leukemia. He was given maybe 6 months at the most, they said, to live. So we had just kind of connected. Like I said, we made friends with a lot of people because that was just what you did when you were in the hospital that much. So we, befriended him a little bit. And I remember he had just kind of an original name. And so anyways, fast forward to my new job, right? So we lived in Texas for 6 years and then moved back to New York, and I got this new job. So I went to work, and there's, several people on my team or whatever. And I get emotional saying this. So I work with this one guy, and I thought, man, where do I know that name? Where do I know that name? And so I worked there like 5 weeks, and my daughter called today, and something just hit me like, oh, I remember that name. I hadn't heard it before. And so I turned around. I was like, I know where I've heard your name before. Again, I'm not going to say his name, but I said, my daughter, we made friends with this family of this kid, and but he was 12 at the time, and in my head I'm kind of doing the math, and I said, but he's probably passed away by now. And then so I'm telling him like about this kid and stuff, and all of a sudden he just looks like he saw a ghost or something. And I was like, what's the matter? And he's like, that's me. I'm that kid. And I was like, I just stopped dead in my tracks. I was like, are you kidding me right now? He's like, I am that kid. That was me. And I was like, oh my gosh. And then I just started crying. And then I said, but you're supposed to be dead. That's what I said. Hey, Rena, I was like, you weren't supposed to live. And it was just this moment of like, we both were just, Rena, how you doing, by the way? Like, I don't know. He was emotional. I was, because we had gone away. We moved. We'd gone on with our life, and I thought he had passed away. And so he called his mom, and she was crying, and we were just like, and they said that his like pastor came and prayed over him one day, and then they did a CAT scan. He had no cancer. I mean, he's fine. He's fine. There's no evidence of cancer whatsoever. 12 years later, both my daughter and he are completely healthy and thriving. And this whole time I thought he was passed away. It's just insane. It's just like, those are the good stories that, and not only did he survive, I know, Rena, but he works with me on my team. It's just amazing. It's just, I don't know. It was just a really good story, because I don't, you can't, I mean, it's just crazy. It's just crazy. I mean, I was just like, I felt horrible because I was like, you're supposed to be dead. Like, it just caught me off guard. And my whole team was like, that you're kidding me right now. So it was just crazy. It's just really crazy. So, just one of those good things where, like, hey, not every story has to end badly in this life. I know, rebellious. I know. It just, when my daughter was 11, she got her last tube out, and she'll go to San Diego here, like in probably like another year, to test and just see how things, absolutely, Lori, how things are working. Her body doesn't absorb the way they do, but it's okay. Like, she's doing phenomenal, and she just has 2 little holes in her stomach, which are very cute and funny. And I say it looks like a smiley face, but hey, she's had over like 15 surgeries and lived through more than I could even, I mean, at one point her liver was fused to like her stomach and stuff because it was awful. And they did so many experimental surgeries that she should have made it through, and she did. So anyways, Heaven has got insane here. Not here, but oh yeah, for sure, Rena. Hey, Danielle. I know. Parker. I almost said Parker. Punkette. Yeah, she's a freaking fighter. And now she's nothing but like attitude and sass, which is good. I'll take it. But there is something different about this kid that I worked with. And then I think about it now. He's just a very sweet boy. A sweet boy. Well, he's a boy to me because he's 22 or something like that. But he's like a sweet kid, but he always just is smiling, and he feels very grateful. And then I was thinking about my daughter, and I really do think that when you go through things like that when you're a kid, it just gives you a whole different like fight a whole different like outlook on life and perseverance. Almost just things are much more positive, I think, when you have to fight so hard when you're a kid. At least that's my perspective. Because yes, my daughter has attitude and sass, but you will never tell her she can't do something. Like, she's gonna do it. So anyways, there's your good story to start off the day. Let's get to the bad stories, which is horrible. We have so much to talk about. So first, Punga, I want you to put all knives down, okay? First things first. I don't know if you guys saw that. Okay, Beatlemaniac. I don't know if you guys saw that there's a new article out about Delphi, and there's some transcripts released from the Keegan Kline interview that I have not fully gone through yet. However, and this is alleged, right? This is according to Daily Mail, which you don't know. But apparently it's in these transcripts, so I've got to go through them. But I wanted to show you this article because it's pretty awful. Now, this is what I don't understand. Wait, is it the article? Where did I put it? Okay, so just a little Delphi update. So according to this girl usually has pretty good information, but according to a source, investigators believe, and this is based on these new transcripts, that the plan was for Allen, which is Richard Allen, to kidnap the girls and bring them to Logan's home, where he and allegedly Kline would SA them. But now sources have told Daily Mail that Logan, who had a history of violence against women, were involved. Logan and Kline never met the girls. They said the girls were supposed to be kidnapped for an S ring, but something went wrong, and he knifed and, that SA'd one of them and almost decapitated the other. Police have been tight-lipped about the girl's cause of death, saying only that there was a lot of blood at the scene. But Daily Mail has been told that the murder weapon was a knife and that both girls bled out. Oh, Paul? Oh, I'm going to address that too. Thoughts? Now, I've heard from several people, and I think it's pretty safe to say at this point that one of them was close to being decapitated, as horrible as that is. There's no other good way to say it. I believe I know which one, but I don't want to say for sure, but I've always suspected, I guess, that the murder weapon was a knife. And again, this is according to Daily Mail, but the other aspect of it. Hey, Kathy Joe, I love you. Thank you. You're amazing. Kathy Joe and I used to do the funniest videos. We got to get back to doing those. That's what I think, Danielle. So I think, first of all, I completely agree. You're just fueling the defense when you put this kind of stuff out. But second of all, I really, really still don't necessarily believe that Richard Allen has a connection to Kline. He might, but actually I suspect more, because now I will say, according to these new transcripts, I did read this part, that the dad was more freaked out than Keegan was when he got called in for questioning. I think if there's anybody who has any type of relationship, hey, Sandy, it would be Alan and Keegan's dad. That makes more sense to me than Keegan and douche. I almost said douche canoe. Richard Allen. However, I don't think Ron Logan had anything to do with it. I think Ron Logan flipped out because he already had, a history and a record, and he wasn't supposed to be driving. And so I think that was a big thing for him. Now, Lindsay once said, and I this is a possibility, I think, that perhaps Logan might have stumbled on the bodies, and that, after the search, Okay, Paul, take your time. But I think that he, if anything, he might have stumbled upon the bodies and moved them or something. And like maybe just because they were on his property, but as far as like having an active plan with Klein or with Alan, I would have to really see evidence that they even knew each other. I'm sure they did, but it's just weird, like I don't know. What do you think? So Danielle says that she thinks it's just to fuel the fire. Yeah, like there's a reason police are tight-lipped. We all had an idea that it was a knife. I mean, there wasn't a gun. We know that it wasn't a gun wound. So I mean, what we didn't think with the amount, like, because police did say there's a ton of blood. I mean, what's your options? Now, I've heard different. It might have been a knife, but I don't think that that's the only thing he used. According to Daily Mail, they dug up a cat. Again, I don't know if that's true. So do I, Danielle. So do I. I really believe that he absolutely panicked because he was driving and he wasn't supposed to, and he was drinking, right? And he wasn't supposed to be. So that's just what I think about it. And I really, like, I've just thought from the beginning it wasn't Keegan. I think Logan would have moved. That's what I think, Kathy Joe, too. You're right, because he didn't move him off his property. So if he stumbled upon them and he was going to move them, he would have for sure moved them off of his property. And, like he does have a history of violence against women, but like I don't know how to say, not a like, I don't know. And I think I still believe that if Alan has any connection to the Kleins, it's to the dad. I just don't see him and Keegan. I know he lived on that. So here's the deal. Alan lived on the same street as the Kleins at one point. That part I understand. But it was Keegan isn't that old. So he would have been like a kid at the time they lived near each other. So that would make me to believe he knew his dad more. So it'll be interesting to see if any of that comes out. I don't know. I don't know. I do think it's funny that that some of the law enforcement try to blame the missing of the signs with Alan and missing him, and that whole fault of him basically offering himself to them on a silver platter on a clerical error. I mean, that's pretty. Just own it, dude. Say, yeah, we screwed up. Like, come on. Are you kidding me right now? Like, you know what? I think the only praise in this whole situation, as crappy as the 5-year wait has been for the families, which I can't even fathom, let's just hope, and at this point we can assume. Yeah, no, Kate, because I was, and then I changed my mind and went early because I couldn't take it anymore. Let's just assume that he hasn't hurt anybody else. It's just crazy. So that's the new info. Like I said, so I used to think Daily Mail had pretty good, solid info, but lately, I don't know, they're getting really weird. Anyways, so Kate, you're welcome to come up if you want. But I know this is little man's bedtime too, so let's talk about the other thing. Let's address the elephant in the room. Not really an elephant in the room, but as most of you have seen, it's all over YouTube. We know now that Leilani, her charges were all released. So I have a couple questions about them. Let me find them, because I know everybody's read through them probably a million times. So we won't waste, we won't go through all of them, but I do want to ask about a couple of things. By the way, side note, I'm going to look at I think we should look, y'all, at the, this is just a side note, the I can't say her name. I apologize. Misrock Uenti, family. I don't know. I'll learn. She was the Princeton student killed that they said was self-inflicted, but like there was a note, and now there was another girl that just got a note on her door in Princeton that said "Be nicer." Yeah, I'm trying to find the why can't I find the affidavit or the charges? I'm coming, y'all. Well, I'll just read it from my phone because I don't know where they are. Hey, Alex. Quinton. Dude, y'all, so I just saw that, Alex. Yeah, I just saw that, Alex. Yeah, Quinton, rest in heaven. You're right. So there's a couple things I have to ask you guys about because I'm going to be honest, I'm not great at, I don't know a lot about the law, but we have seen now that the dumpster that she threw him away at is the one that was in the Azalea mobile home park. Allegedly, what she told law enforcement, which you've all seen, is that she had gone to see her friend Misty to get Oragel. Okay, so that was one of her false reports. It says, so here's what I don't understand. So it says that she did, in fact, cause the death of her son, Quinton. But here's what I'm confused about. So and Kathy Jo can probably answer this because she knows a lot about that stuff. It said that, so she did unlawfully with malice aforethought cause the death of her son, Quinton Simon, a human being, in a manner unknown to the grand jury at this time, contrary to the laws of the state of Georgia. But then it goes on to say that she, for the felony murder, it says that because she did commit the offense of aggravated assault by beating him. Oh my God. By beating him with an object that, when used offensively against a person, did result in serious bodily injury, the nature of the object being unknown to the grand jury. So here's my question about that. Oh, by the way, I'm not a true crime creator that knows that I know everything. I definitely don't know like actual law, this type of stuff very well. So are they saying they don't know how he died? I'm a little bit confused because then they go on that she gets a false report because they said that because discarded him in a dumpster, which hindered the discovery of whether Quinton was unlawfully killed. So all of that has me a little bit confused. So are they saying they don't know the cause of his death, but they do know that she beat him with an object, which probably resulted in his death? And if so, how do they know that? Did she confess? Or, I don't know. I'm so confused by what this says. So if anybody knows, please tell me. The fact that it says caused her son Quinton, a human being and a child, cruel and excessive physical pain is most likely can't tell exactly what he was hit with. Oh my God. I got to show you guys something. I have to show you something. I got to share this again. I just remembered. This made me have a whole new. This made me cry. They may not know I don't know, essay. So I don't know if they found the object yet. From what it sounds like, they don't know the object. That's what I think, Beatlemaniac. Because even Brian Laundrie, they could tell that he died by a gunshot. Well, oh yeah, sorry. Gosh, I'm terrible at the trigger warnings. Whoops, wrong one. There we go. Oh yeah, I was going to show you this. This really just was impactful when Jen shared this. Jennifer Coffendoffer said, somehow in those words, when it said 19 counts of indictment with a multitude of crimes related to the murder, which isn't Megan Boswell 19 counts as well? Somehow in those words, all I can see is 20-month-old Quinton looking at like LS, wondering why. And it really, you look at him and look at her, and you just wonder. Absolutely, Kate. I figured it's bedtime. I know. You just look at him and you look at her and you think that the last thing he saw was the one person that was supposed to keep him safe beating him to death. And that is a horrifying, oh, Mel, it is a horrifying thing to even comprehend. And I feel like it's happening every single day that kids are dying in this type of manner or in some sort of a manner at the hands of the people that are supposed to keep them safe. Like that Troy Kohler or something is his name. They just said that it's been found out that CPS actually examined his injuries 2 times for when he was being abused and stuff, and he's still, the wording implies she deliberately caused his death to be painful and drawn out. I think that, yes. Oh, I love that, Kathy Joe. I prefer to believe the last thing he saw was an angel saving him. Oh my gosh, I know. So then the other charges, because there was more. So I think y'all are right. I think they might not know what she killed him with, or just that there was blunt force trauma. Yeah, that was the other thing, essay. Exactly, Mel. How, if you think of all the people in this world who would give anything to have a child that can't have a child, and this, like, she could have given him up, anything. So then here's the other things I don't understand. So it said that she threw him away in the dumpster, which hindered the discovery. Okay. She told them that she was just throwing garbage away. So this tells me right now why his body was so important for them to find. Just so you know, Dolly, the reason that y'all were yelling and the reason that police had to wait, Punkette. I think she will, Pamela. The reason that they had to wait was because they needed this body to seal this deal. I think that they saw her throwing stuff away and they figured it was him. But as far as actually, they had to prove it was him, is what I think. So, she gets charged for false report because of implying that Quinton had been abducted by an unknown intruder. Later, she pinned that on the dad that wasn't even in the area. She then said that she had left her home in the late night hours to meet her drug dealer, falsely stating that the purpose of this meeting was to pay an existing drug debt, contrary to laws of the state of Georgia. So did she not go? Or did she go and do drugs or something? And then there was one other thing that was a little bit confusing. They said that, they proved the Misty story was false. She discarded of her son. Okay. So it says she told the FBI that she had used controlled substances on the 4th. So if I know, right, essay? If I think if I'm reading this correctly, did she not even do drugs that night? So did she ever go to meet the drug dealer? Like, that part's a little confusing to me. And here's the deal. I don't give two flying craps if she was on drugs, okay? There are many people that do drugs that have messed up and have addictions. They don't kill their kids, all right? What I think Leilani did, I think if you can hear my son laughing, I think he woke up crying and she beat him up, or she knew that Leilani was a type of personality based on, from what we do know, that if you didn't do her right and you didn't do what Leilani wanted you to do, she stuck it to you. Just like she did with her brother when she called the police on him for stealing the $100, which was actually her, and wanting him to be evicted. Now, we know that when Billy Joe acted up and didn't do what Leilani want, she called the police on Billy Joe. Like, Leilani got what Leilani wants, and if she didn't get it, I think she stuck it to you. I think the boyfriend was on his way out the door. I think that he was going to leave her. And we do know, I mean, we don't know, but if you look at all of the pictures, Leilani never has Quinton. It was always Danny. Always. I think there was a bond there, and I think now, we don't know what the babysitter's saying, if it's true or hearsay, but she does say that Leilani had a very strong bond with Zane. For some reason, Quinton just, because they may not know the object she used, they will add as many Okay, I love Derf. I thought meth. So is there, right, Punkette, is there a I have never done meth. There is like a meth rage. If she claims that, can that be a lesser charge? I need to go to law school. If she claims that she was on drugs, can she use that as some sort of a defense that will get her a lesser charge? Will that be what saves her from the death penalty? And look, I feel sorry for Billy Joe in some ways. We all make mistakes, but look, her mistake cost her grandchild to die. Did she ever think Leilani would do something like this? No, probably not. But look, sometimes our mistakes have immediate or have consequences, whether we meant them to happen or not. It just is what it is. And Leilani wasn't supposed to be with those kids. She didn't, and this was no accident. Oh, not in Georgia? Okay. Her defense will try, but it doesn't. Okay. She didn't, this is like Megan Boswell. Like okay, let me address that too. Megan Boswell's trial being pushed back to 2025. Can we just stop pushing her trial back and make her, I guess when it's said and done, the longer her trial is pushed out there, the less likely she's still in jail, but you should lock these two up together. When we found out Megan Boswell's charges, that wasn't an accident. This was not an accident. Oh, thanks, Thrive, for Shanann. It's my daughter's like fishing. She just loves it. So I hung it up here one day for her, and this was not an accident. I told you guys, and I'm not saying that like I told you, she had so many Megan Boswell. It almost makes me wonder, would you watch Megan? So many Megan Boswell red flags, right down to She stood in front. So this is where I do feel bad for Billy Joe. She stood in front of her garage crying, saying she just wants to know where he is. She just hopes he's with a family, knowing she beat him to death. My brain cannot even comprehend. And Megan Boswell did the same exact thing, knowing she strangled and suffocated her daughter. I don't, Casey Anthony, don't even get me started there. But if that isn't psychopath, I don't know what is. And like I said, sorry you're an addict. Really sorry. Sorry if it was meth. But look, you beat and threw your kid away like he was trash. It is I Love Delphi. That is a true psychopath. And I'm sorry. I have no grace. I have no grace for her. I can't have grace. My question, though, to you guys is, oh, don't worry about it. I love Delphi. My spelling. Oh, there's Kate. Hey.
Hey.
I hear myself.
I know. I had a rookie mistake. I had my YouTube running.
This has been a crazy. I don't know if you're gonna have to go back and listen to the Delphi stuff because that's insane. I just want to know.
I read it in my sleep this morning when I was taking a nap. Something about Delphi, and I don't remember what it was.
Hey,
something about with Ron Logan?
Why does it say your location is currently in use on my computer? That freaks me out.
I have no idea.
Great, the FBI is watching me. It was just said that Daily Mail is claiming that Ron Logan and Keegan Kline were supposed to put the girls in a ring, and that something went wrong and Alan killed them. But it's just
where does Daily Mail get this information?
Yeah, they're saying sources. So I mean, yeah.
There goes my damn alarm clock. Every Daily Mail article that
did you just think
the front door is open in Idaho, and they always have some false ass story that doesn't equal anything. Sorry.
Yep. No, it's okay. So you know what else? I wanted to think this wasn't the case, but I think they found a lot of blood with the luminol. And between that, Quinton's house.
Quinton, you mean?
Yeah, between that and then seeing her throw something away, I think that's why they knew they had her, but they had to find that body.
Here's my thing. I know they don't know exactly what the object was, but they wouldn't just announce that publicly at the press conference if they didn't find extensive injuries or like blood spatter on the wall. You know what I mean? Or something like that.
And luminol, no matter how much you clean up, right, you can see with luminol where blood was.
Yep. I think it takes like 1 million, like it was like a crazy number of like gallons of water it would take to like clean up, to like wash away 1 drop of blood.
I didn't expect it to be this bad. I really did not think maybe I was just naive.
I did. I expected
you
it
did.
To be bad.
You thought she beat him. Oh my gosh. So here's my question for you and everybody. Danny. So
I don't think he's involved at all.
Me neither. I think she did it from between the hour when he left.
I do too. I don't think he's involved at all. I think if they even thought for a second that he was even remotely involved, that they would have done something about it. And I think if he was involved, she wouldn't be doing all the work to hide the body. You know what I mean? Like, if me and my husband killed somebody, he's not going to let me
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean? Like, or I'm not gonna go do it. I'm gonna make him go do it. Not that I'm ever gonna do that, but you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying.
Well, and
And
by the time he got home, she could have easily cleaned up, I would think. Like, because he came back, what, 8 o'clock or something after that?
yeah, I think so.
I mean, it wouldn't have taken that long. In my brain, I am trying to think what could have set her off with him that was that bad. I just don't even know. Is Billy Joe still in jail?
Yeah, until like a week or so, I think they didn't grant her bail, I guess, and she has to stay in jail for a couple days.
I hope that she will stay off YouTube now because it's just not going to help her. But yeah, so when everybody kept saying that they must have found stuff with Illuminol, I just didn't think. I was like, no, they must just have seen him being dumped. I just didn't think that somebody would have that, I guess, but she did. Oh, there was one other charge. But I'm still just trying to figure out if she was on drugs or not on drugs, or if she really left the house.
Oh, she was on drugs. She was on when they drug tested her, she was on oxy, fentanyl, and coke. It was all in her system.
But not meth?
No. I think her choice of drug was coke, but her drug of
So
choice.
would that have made her go into a rage?
Well, she could have done I mean, yeah, it could if you aren't listen, having no sleep for a couple days could definitely put anybody into a rage.
Disclaimer, this is not us making excuses for her. We want her in.
Oh, I hope she gets freaking buried. You know what? I thought it was going to be bad because in my mind, like anyone who can throw their own child in a trash can is at the level of like people who do shit to kids. That's like, you know what I mean? Like if you can throw your own whole ass baby after you kill them in a dumpster, you know what I mean? Like you're a piece of shit, plain and simple. Like,
well, glad to have you back,
if
Paul.
you can do that, then I really think you could you're capable of anything. Sorry, my washer's on in the background.
No, you're fine.
Noise.
When they come down, yeah. All he had to do was cry. There was something, I just really think that when we've gone through her Facebook and seeing that most of the pictures of Quinton were with Danny, I just think there was some sort of disconnect between her and Quinton. I don't know what it was, but she did. She Boo Bear, you're right. I love your name. She, for some reason, I believe she despised Quinton and his dad. She loved her first and third baby. They said, yeah, I mean, based on, some of the, like the babysitter, again, I know not everybody's a fan, but
it wouldn't shock me. That's usually how a typical abuse situation goes. There's
really,
like you'll hear like one child who will get treated really poorly, and it's usually like a child that might have like behavioral problems, or they just didn't, or they have they don't like their parent or whatever, and then the other kids. I mean, there's definitely situations where all the kids get abused, but there's usually like one kid who gets it like worse than the others.
Yeah,
I think Danny cared about Quinton too. I don't know. I just I mean, I don't know him, but I just don't think he's involved. But other people think he had to have been involved, but I don't think he is.
You and I have stood pretty firm on this I don't not, and people can fake pictures, but there was so many pictures of him and Quinton. And if Danny was leaving her, then I don't know. And she already didn't like Quinton. But there has been speculation that she very much favored Zane.
So my son, he's in bed, and I tell him, I said, listen, I'm going on YouTube. I said, only get me if it's an emergency. He goes, emergency. Dave needs to go to the store and get me ice cream.
He's 7 or 8?
7.
Oh my gosh, that's
emergency. Perfect. You need to go to the store and get me ice cream. Like, no. He said, come on.
I do, Punkat. I really do, and I don't know why. I don't know if I just want to wish that or wish Quinton had somebody good, but I think that was Quinton's only saving grace was Danny. I mean, the babysitter does say that. That's the other thing. It was yeah. The babysitter did say that Danny was the one she called. Like, Leilani wouldn't answer the phone. Danny was the one that would bring things over that Leilani would forget or whatever. I hope. Oh, Beatlemaniac, that is not morbid. That is
So, do we know if Danny has the little girl, or is he gonna get the little girl, or?
Paul, that's awesome. Thank you. That's so cute. I don't know, because that was part of the gag order, and isn't that kind of what Billy Joe broke, was that gag order, or allegedly? I mean, like I said, you don't want to screw around with that.
So it seemed like this is what I like from what I understand. It seemed that she thought Quinton wasn't on the gag order, which I can understand why, because he's not here anymore. But I guess he was still on the gag order because it's an open case. And I did notice when she was on panels and stuff, she would ask not to talk about the other two or say she can't mention them. But I think she didn't know that Quinton was included, and he was, I'm pretty sure.
That makes sense. And I do know that some of their relatives of the dads, like other dads, were like, if she doesn't shut her mouth pretty soon, like, we're gonna turn her in. So that would make sense. Hey, Lynn. There was something I was gonna say.
Like, I really think she didn't, and I can understand why she wouldn't have thought that Quinton was on it, because he's not here anymore. So what does it matter? Like, probably in her mind, like, why can't I talk about him? You know what I mean? But
that's probably where, like, not Queen, but the other creator maybe should have just, like, said get down. But there's also, so the vest she had on, so somebody clarified this for me. It is not like a protection. The vest was not an end of life watch. Like, apparently that vest was if you've been like this, like
unaliving watch.
Yeah, that's a different vest. That particular vest color is for, like, disorderly inmates. So she probably resisted. I mean, she's obviously not in a sane state right now, given what happened. I will say, despite whether I like her and despite or not, and I do want her to get some time, but I do not think she knew the manner that Leilani killed Quinton. I don't. Maybe. I don't know.
Wait, say that one more time.
I don't think that Billy Joe knew how Quinton died.
No, I don't think she knew either. I think Leilani lied to her the whole time. And I think that was a lot of her frustration. I think she, like, knew in her heart, like something had happened, but she wanted it to be like an accident,
Yeah, I think we saw that when she turned her head that time. Yeah. She knew that she
was, like, you could tell that she, like, felt it in her heart. And you know what? I give her props, because she did do what she said she was going to do, and she drove her right to the FBI office and dropped her off. And that takes a lot for somebody to drop your own child off.
I just can't believe she did that.
It's a hard situation, because that's your grandchild and it's a baby, you know what I mean? And then that's your own child. So it's like, it had to be probably the hardest thing that she's ever done in her whole life, I'm sure, but, well, definitely the hardest thing she's ever done in her life. But,
well, in her life over, let's be real. I mean, her life is forever changed. I mean, well, God, I say that, but look at Casey Anthony. But she's lost her grandson, which, yes, but I mean, you think she's gonna be able to live a normal life with a high profile case? No. My daughter's S-Watch in Georgia. Wait, hold on, I gotta catch up with Paul. In Georgia, Parker and Kate, if she is convicted on malice murder, felony murder would be vacated by opera. Okay, Paul. Durf says S-Swat, because Durf was police worked in the jail. S-Watch inmates are placed in what we call a 4-point or 5-point position. A jacket doesn't prevent them from throwing themselves into a wall to hurt themselves. Okay, that makes more sense. And then Blueberry said, my daughter is the same as Leilani. Difference as I seen and got my daughter help, but my daughter didn't want her first and third child, only her second one. I took care of them. I did not. Wow, Blueberry, that's pretty crazy.
Blueberry, if you don't mind me asking, like,
how?
And you don't have to answer this if you don't want. I'm just curious. Is there like a reason? Like, did she get postpartum for like 1 and 3, or
oh, that's a good question.
Favor to, because it makes me wonder if if someone has postpartum with their second child per se, and they don't get that bonding experience, like would that change things? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
Blueberry, you have a very impactful story to hear. Yeah, I'm curious. Again, disclaimer, I want Leilani to fry, but we're just trying to figure out what makes you not love your second child like you do your first and third.
That's why I asked, because she didn't like the father for first one. Okay. So there was like some resentment.
And somebody said they hated. Well, we also do know, I mean, there are posts way back in January of this year from Bubba on Facebook saying that, he was going to see Quinton. Like, I think that he was probably eventually going to fight for custody, especially since he had a new long-term girlfriend or something. I don't know. But for some reason, she hated him. Thank you for, Blueberry. That is really amazing. You still have your grandkids 10 years now. I mean, that's really amazing that you did that. I can't imagine what
it is, for sure
decision that was to make, but I'm glad you recognized the signs. There's one other thing.
And like, second one, she wanted, third one, same dad as second, but she didn't want to. Oh, okay. So another thing is too, did you have moments where you, how can I like word this? If
regretted,
you don't mind,
regretted,
like where like where you felt like you should have took the kids earlier, but you let her keep having them because you wanted her to get better. Because I feel like that's kind of like what Billy Joe did. Like, she really wanted her daughter to like wake up one day and like be. I think a lot of people do that. You know what I mean? They hope their kid will come around, and I think she did try. You know what I mean? She had a baby.
Leilani is a very, very, very manipulative person.
Yeah.
Very.
I think BJ tried. Like, she knew Leilani was going to be home alone during the day, so she had her go to the babysitter. But my thing is, maybe the babysitter didn't start till like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning because she had other things she needed to take care of before then. And then there's a short window between when Danny goes to work and maybe when the babysitter picks up Quinton, and she had to be a mom for those 2 hours and couldn't handle it. You know what I mean? Which is pretty sad. But
is this just rumor? Somebody said that there was a potential relationship between Danny and one of the babysitter's daughter. That's what made Leilani fly off the handle. Or was that completely speculative? No, first child I had from birth, she wanted, oh my gosh. Second child she kept with a dad and her. That is insane. Wow. I can't imagine having that much resentment towards my child, whether or not I liked the dad.
I can't either, because like, I feel like this, like, even in my belly, you know what I mean? I felt like connected. And then when he came out, it was just like, it's like your momming instincts usually just kick in, and there's that instant connection that's just like always there. So it's weird to me too. Like, it would be hard for me. Like, when they talk about postpartum, like, it's so hard for me to understand that, because instantly you feel like connected to your kids.
Yeah.
It's not even a feeling you can explain. Like, I just immediately started crying like the second, like, you know what I mean? You just instantly feel connected to them. There's just like, they came from you. So there's just something there. And
yeah,
it's not a feeling anyone would know unless you're a mom and have kids,
Pamela, oh, I completely agree. She's got some blame, and I think she's going to have something. But I'm just trying to figure out what in her mind, like, what was. I mean, Leilani, I do think she is very manipulative. Like, she had a way.
And listen, mental health issues and hard drugs do not go hand in hand at all together. I mean, I deal with that with my mom, and it's rough. Like, it's one thing, to like hard drugs and mental health issues never turn out well, in my opinion. Not like drugs to help you. I mean, like hard drugs, like
Yeah.
coke and fentanyl and whatever, and then if you have mental health issues on top of it, it's never good.
Yeah, I mean, if she has psychopathic tendencies, which look at her face, there's no remorse even right there in her mugshot for killing her child, right? Isn't that the mugshot of her?
Yeah. And she lied like every day about like something different too.
Every day she sat crying, and we were right. Oh, wow, Blueberry, that's crazy. Wow, we were right. She literally just took stories that people were saying and made them her own.
And
Like,
for instance, like, all right, some people would argue, like, oh, if she was just infuriated in a fit of rage, because she'd been up all night and hit him, that wouldn't be premeditated. But if she hit him more than once, then that's premeditated because she had to think about doing it again after the first time.
point.
And second, it's a lot different because malice comes from, how can I explain it? So there has to be something to provoke. Like, normally something would provoke murder. Like, if you're an adult and you start a fight with somebody and then somebody fights back and then they kill you, that's like being provoked. But a child cannot provoke somebody to kill them. They're a 2-year-old child who's defenseless. You know what I mean? Like, a 2-year-old child can't attack you and hurt you, or, you know what I mean? So it's, no matter what, it's unprovoked when it comes to a child. So that's where malice murder comes from. And malice murder means it was done with forethought, which means if even for a couple seconds she thought about striking him, then that would become premeditated. So if she had hit him multiple times, or they had evidence of past abuse or whatever, then she's definitely going to get nailed with malice, which I think she will regardless. But it depends on like how, but I think, like, I guess you'd have to see the evidence. Like, if there's evidence that she struck him more than once, it's definitely premeditated malice murder.
For them to be able to tell, now it makes sense. The light bulb is going off. So they knew that based on the amount of blood probably that they found, that was what caused his death, even though they don't know the exact cause of death because of the shape they found him.
Well, I heard that he wasn't like crushed or anything. Like, he was found pretty intact. So they may have
been able to tell
some kind of like skull fracture evidence or something like that, but they might not be able to tell what it came from. You know what I mean?
You're right, because I just looked this up because I was playing with my little cousin, and I'm always really worried about their soft spot. And then I found out, like, their soft spots aren't technically fully closed. Like, the brain is not technically fully protected until like 2. So his little head was, oh my gosh. But I really,
they could probably tell from his bones if he was hit with something, and I'm sure with luminol and whatever, you know what I mean?
To have that kind of blood must have just, oh my gosh. But you're right.
If you could have found like blood spatter or something of that nature too.
If she struck him more than once, you're right. That you can't say a fit of rage, because
you have to think about, after you strike someone the first time, you have to think about doing it again. Or if there was previous abuse, or even if she had thought about it within that minute, like, I'm gonna hit him, you know what I mean? So
yep. Really, Paul? Malice and felony is a life sentence. The judge decides after to get. Wow.
Oh, she could also get put to death for malice murder. Malice murder is like is like kind of like first degree. They don't call it's pretty much like the highest charge you can get, I'm pretty sure.
That's why they had
In
to
Georgia.
get the body. They had to have that body. And look,
in Georgia, malice murder is first degree. In a nutshell, it's premeditated murder. I'll read it to you. Hold on.
Soon as they had that body, whew, they moved. You should go over in your live. You should go over the whole thing.
Oh, I will definitely.
Okay.
I'm definitely gonna go. I'll go over like the charge, everything. All right. So malice murder is a person who commits the act of murder can be charged to have committed a malice murder or felony murder. Malice murder is applicable when someone causes the death of another person that is deemed to be unlawful and intentional. Relative to murder, the term malice is considered to imply a clearly deliberate intent to kill, void of any legal justification for taking of a life. So, and it's with forethought, like a person commits the offense of murder when he unlawfully and with malice aforethought, which means premeditated, either expressed or implied, causes the death of another human being. Express malice is that deliberate intention unlawfully to take the life of another human being in which manifested by external circumstances capable of proof. Malice shall be implied where no considerable provocation appears, like especially with a child. There is no considerable provocation when it comes to a child. You know what I mean? Like a child can't do anything to provoke you enough to kill them. You know what I'm saying? Like a human could attack you with a 2x4 and that could provoke you to kill them, but a child can't do that. Not a 2-year-old.
Boober, this must be really painful for you. I hope that know your limits. Like, I can't imagine how painful this case is to you. Wow. So, gosh. Isn't Megan Boswell, wasn't it 19 charges for her as well?
I don't remember.
Sure. I thought for sure it was something like that. Like, my hat off to law enforcement. Anybody who says they didn't handle this case perfectly. I mean, I've said that from day one, but they did what they said when they had, I mean, well, they didn't say this, but as soon as they had that body, she was in jail. Like,
a person convicted of the offense of murder shall be punished by death, by imprisonment for life without parole, or imprisonment for life. So you could most definitely get the death penalty for malice murder. I mean, I doubt she will, just because, it's not that common, but she'll definitely probably get life.
I wanted to look up the reason Megan Boswell's trial was pushed off so much. It's crazy.
Is she not? What's her name? Not
25
fit to stand trial.
She's getting trial. 2025 of February, she'll face a jury.
Is she not fit to stand trial? Is that what?
Oh my gosh. Listen to this. Delay is generally not good for the state, and that we've got lots of witnesses that we are now going to have to keep tabs on and keep them kind of on the hook for several years. Oh my gosh, if Megan Boswell gets off, I will.
I hate to say this, but she might. It's kind of like a Casey Anthony type situation. Like, this is different because they literally have her on camera, like, dumping him.
Well, this dumpster, and then they Quinton, yeah, but Megan's.
No, I'm saying, like, for her, it's going to be like a Casey Anthony situation because they don't really have, like, solid proof of her doing it. You know what I mean? They have.
Yeah, you're right.
They have her lying like Casey Anthony was about shit, but there's no, like, unless they found, like, some kind of DNA. Well, I mean, her DNA would be on there because it's her mom. I don't know. You know what I mean? It's going to be similar to that. I can say that.
So Boswell requested new legal counsel, which is ridiculous because the other judge before said they needed to work it out. And so her new legal counsel recently requested she be allowed to wear civilian clothes while in court. Okay. And then he requested the trial date change on Wednesday. That is very concerning because that means...
And they approved the trial date change?
That's concerning to me because that was just today then. And they approved it that fast.
That's bullshit.
We wouldn't have asked if it weren't absolutely necessary, Scott said. Obviously, Megan's being held in jail and can't make bond, so we didn't want to put it off any longer than we had to. But at the same time, the case is so complex and there's a lot that still needs to be done. Prosecutors say that while they suspect
like that
the trial would be delayed after Boswell's change in legal counsel, the state has a case they are ready to present for the jury. Oh my gosh.
It all depends on the jury, too. You never know. I mean, the jury could just, not fall for the shit, but...
I just don't understand. They said that her lawyer has requested all of the transcripts of every hearing. Oh my God.
For instance, I thought George Wagner
said, "Please no." Yeah.
I thought George Wagner was gonna get off, and he was guilty on everything. So I mean, you never know based on the jury. Like I feel like they screwed up. I feel like the DA did a terrible job with the George Wagner trial, but they still got him somehow. So you never know. It's really up and down with whatever jury you got.
It's crazy now to hear jurors in the Casey Anthony case almost like sick to their stomach that, like, looking back, that she got off. And it's just, I mean, in this case, you're right. They have evidence, the pretty hard evidence. In Megan's case, it's going to be very difficult.
Yeah, I mean, Leilani's case is in the bag. They have her dumping him in a dumpster. And then they found his remains at the landfill that dumpster goes to. I'm sure she probably had him in some kind of like bag or tote where they can match that up. And then she lied like 85 times. Yeah. I mean, not, exaggerating, but she lied a lot. So.
I love Derf. Okay, have a good dinner and a good night. Scott Peterson's decision comes back tomorrow. Oh my goodness.
Already? Wow.
The tubes are going to blow up. Kate, I have another case for you.
What?
Gotta start looking into the Princeton case of the girl that even Coffindoffer says there's no way, she doesn't believe it. It says that she unalived herself, but there was also a note on her door that said, "Be nice." And guess what was left on another female's door? Be nice, be nicer. And even her parents don't believe that it was unaliving. So you've got to look into it. It's they're actually requesting a private autopsy because it's so, like, this case is going to be insane. Yeah, so I want to look into that. But yeah, so this was the big news today. And obviously, Idaho. So I have Kate looking into, Kate has been helping me with fraternities too. So I've been looking a lot into the Sigma Chi, and I didn't realize, because I don't know that much about fraternities, like what exactly it is that there is, like, it's a brotherhood, like, that I just, like,
they take way too seriously. Like, dude, that's like, that goes back to, like, what do you call it? What are the damn Knights of Templar type stuff? Like, they have like fraternities where your family has to be like a Templar, member from back in the day. They have all kinds of like crazy, super secret fraternities that are like hardcore. Like, they take this shit way serious. So,
and there's a lot of this Sigma Chi or whatever, that Sigma Chi, whatever, however you say it, that not this particular one, but that have had some really tragic outcomes, where accidental drownings and things of that nature, that fraternities have been suspended. So I did see that they
all like back each other and get quiet, and like, even if it's like, it's really, I've read about a couple like frat cases where like crime cases where they've all kind of like backed each other and kept quiet and stuff, even though it was some horrible thing that happened.
I know you did, Sandy. I use you a lot. Well, I don't say your name, but I do say, I mean, you were the first story I heard like that. You said it was so difficult. So they found the gas station that's out now. The gas station that saw the
I feel like the timing really like matches up with this frat angle too. Like,
it does.
Because the light goes out during that DUI, right? So I imagine the guy wasn't there yet because it's probably then them turning the light out for the night. And then you have that small window between like 3:10 and 3:45 till they're at the gas station.
Yep.
It would make total sense that they could see the house from the frat, see when the light goes out, go over there, do that, run back, hop in a car, and book it out of town for the Thanksgiving holiday.
Yep.
And that would explain why there was probably like no blood trails, because they could have went right out into that grass back there somehow.
Which I think they did, because I think
and just ran across the yard right to the frat. You know what I mean? Like, right there, it would avoid people seeing you. Even if you were covered in blood, you could make that run from the house to the frat house and nobody even notice, because it's all on a back field back there. I mean, and it would fit how that short amount of time worked out.
That was a short amount of time from so somebody did make a good point. So, okay, my kid is yelling for a towel. Seriously. I'm on a live. Okay. My oldest, like, he can't even do anything himself. So from 2:52, the last Jack call, they got to sleep by like 3:05 or something like that. That's insane. And then, I guess not if they were drunk. You got to sleep fast, but that car was seen at 3:45. So when I mean, they did a lot of damage in that time. Now, I will say, the guy that, everybody said is just a troll or whatever, that had such in-depth details, I will say he had a lot of really specific details, right down to the fact where he said it was in 19 minutes, which again would fit the timeline we're talking about.
Oh yeah, like, it was super detailed for somebody to just be like throwing that out there and it not having I mean, they could have just pieced it together themselves and they're like, oh, it got to be this guy because this works. But still, I mean, that's a pretty viable theory, I feel like. And then it makes sense why the police are focusing so heavily on Ethan and Xana's whereabouts, which I feel like that's why what's-his-name was mad, because he kept saying, oh, like, is somebody going to step up and be an alpha? They didn't have to go upstairs. So it was almost sounding like he was saying, like,
yeah,
come on, the target was my daughter, not Ethan and Xana. Step up and do it right. You know what I mean? Like, that's the vibe I got. So
now, and I will say that on Ethan's Venmo, there was a lot of interactions with the one that is suspected. Now, the one that's suspected, I don't necessarily, but I do think there was a falling out, because it goes cold on Venmo. I think that there was a falling out and there was some disagreements. I will say that the frat, from my understanding, originally was one of the ones that said they were only there for an hour. Then when they got caught in a whole bunch of like discrepancies, then they changed it to that they were there all night.
And not only that, but what's it called? Somebody told the Daily Mail too, which I'm gonna take with a grain of salt, like I said, because it's a daily fail. But they are reporting that they're hearing from students that about the frat stuff.
Yeah, so remember I sent you that picture? So there was an image, an like legit image of one of the boys, David, which by now I'm not going to say his last name, but most people know, that said on November 21st, somebody said, just own up to what you guys did. And that's way before any of us even knew that there was a possible falling out.
Yep.
So even if they don't have anything to do with it, which at this point we have no proof that they did, there was still an extreme falling out of some sort between these guys. And
Mhm.
it has shifted all of my thoughts from being Kaylee a target to being
Same.
and
I just think maybe they could have got it like a little more rough if they tried to fight back or,
agreed.
whatever.
Agreed. And I do think that
So do you think it could be more than one person or one?
I do. I thought it was, here's why. I thought
I
it
mean,
was
that
one
could
for the longest.
explain why the injuries were different. Like one got different injuries than the other.
Yes, and
They could
quicker.
have had the same knives but killed them differently, you know what I mean?
Or because I did not realize, I just read tonight that the blades on the knife that is suspected, right, that they think dull very easily. So there's likely damage, or likely some sort of, like the suspect might have some sort of something, scratches or something. But if it dulls that quickly, we're talking 4 bodies multiple times. So is there 2 killers using 2 different
Yeah,
knives
and is it really one killer taking on all these 4 people and being able to
with a dull knife?
fight them all down? You know what I mean?
So I can't help but go, okay, maybe there was more than one.
Mhm.
The white Elantra. So this is kind of just me thinking, but seeing the tinted windows, if in fact that's the white Elantra going by there, and that is the one that they suspect might, be involved in this somehow, that doesn't scream to me some, like, I don't know, a profile of, like one of these guys that's home where
Creepy
there's
dude.
pictures all over his wall of the girls because he's been stalking them for weeks, and like it's just,
Yeah.
that says frat guy to me. But that's
Yeah,
awesome.
that gives me more of a like van with curtains type dude, or like or like, I don't know.
God,
Not a tinted window Elantra.
yes, I think I'm like Criminal Minds watching or something. But yeah, that's
Mhm.
that's the vibe I got. But
I see what you're saying.
Blueberry, I'm trying to find more info about this fraternity. I get the bad vibes when I see it's just, I just do. If I did not know how fraternities were that much, like, wow,
Yeah.
intense. And I have heard somebody said that Kaylee witnessed oh, thanks, Beatlemaniac. Oh, thank you. That Kaylee witnessed an accidental drowning, but I've looked at drownings and I don't see any anywhere. So
Let me just say, I always forget to do trigger warnings too, but
yeah,
guys, if you watch true crime, just expect to hear triggering stuff because that's true crime for you.
especially lately. Oh my gosh,
I
especially
feel like there just needs to be like a general, like for just true crime in general, trigger warning. Like you're bound to hear some triggering stuff.
and no matter what, whenever I talk about Idaho, Google AdSense limits it'll limit my
That's what it does for Delphi for me. It's annoying.
Delphi and Idaho every
Yeah.
time. And I don't know what it is. Just those 2 every single time. It's crazy. I mean, I don't care.
Delphi, even if I don't even say anything bad about Delphi, they still do it. It's like, oh,
Even
Delphi case.
yep, it's
They don't even
crazy.
listen to I could just be playing the press conference and then they'll be like, no.
Limit may not be suitable. It's just pretty crazy. But well, Kate is going live in a little bit, and so we can continue more conversation in depth. So but I just wanted to go over some of the different things. Now tomorrow I'll have my video up, and you guys have to comment on it so that I can generate your names. I have
Oh, and can I announce the
Yeah.
21st thing?
Yes, of course.
Yeah,
Okay,
so
I will look, Blueberry. Thank you. Thank you. Yes, please email me the stuff because I had Kate on it too. I want to know. I've been trying to get this fraternity figured out.
on the 21st,
Thanks,
I'm
Lynn.
having a special creator true crime panel for Christmas, and we're gonna talk about John Benet Ramsey case because I feel like that's just such a fitting Christmas special case. You know what I mean?
I got to look into that case more.
What?
Did they ever catch her killer?
No.
That's how little I know about this case.
You don't. The John Bonet case is like the most famous case ever, girl. What?
I'm gonna go look at it. Well, wasn't it the mom? Or no, she died.
She died. A lot of people think it might have been her brother. See, it's a lot of people think the parents are involved because the ransom note that was left was very specific to certain movies that the dad liked, and he got like a Christmas bonus, and I think the amount of the Christmas bonus was that particular amount. I think it was this guy who lived across the street.
Hi, Ava.
Who was obsessed with John Bonet. He lived in the basement of this like old people. I forget his name, but I'll have to send it to you. I think it's him. But in a nutshell, a bunch of creators are coming. Parker, Melissa Jade said yes.
So
the Cypher podcast will be there. Criminality will be there.
So excited.
Jen Sharp. I'm forgetting people. Jen Sharp, Jen Liu is coming. Case Ford study.
Which, by the way, if you guys have not seen, please go to either my page or Community Post or Kate's Community Post. Jen Liu's granddaughter is very, very, very ill, and if you can donate, please do. I can't even imagine. It sounded like it was a terminal type condition. So, but yes, but back to Kate's thing. But I just wanted you guys, please offer Jen support.
That girl's, yes, please help Jen Liu out. Yes. That girl is coming. Joneson said she would be there. I think Alex is coming. Alex Erickson's coming as long as she's not traveling that day. Did I miss anyone else? I feel like
my son is calling me for a towel, so finish it, and I tell him.
I think I may have over invited because I thought for sure, like, nobody, everyone wasn't gonna come, but everybody came back, so we might have to flip out, but everybody's gonna be there. But pretty much. So he called your phone for a towel.
He's ridiculous. He's like, I'm naked and I need a towel. I'm like, okay. All right, what time are you going live?
In a half hour, 9:30.
9:30. Be there, guys. We'll continue this great conversation. All right, I'll talk to you later. You guys are awesome.
All right. Good night, guys. 9:30, guys. See you then.
9:30, Kate's channel.